We're joined by the member for Kingsford Smith, Matt Thistlethwaite, and the member for Mackellar, Jason Falinski. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, Tim.
Morning, Tim.
Now, I'll start with you, Matt, because, it's nice for Anthony Albanese to be travelling around. He's up there in North Queensland. He's going to give Australia a pay rise. But the problem is, by trying to raise wages, it means that these already higher interest rates are just going to get higher quicker.
Well, the wage rise that Anthony's referring to is one for minimum wage workers. These are the workers who are the lowest paid in Australia. And when the rest of the country was in lockdown and safely at home, we're often going to work to ensure that the economy kept running and we kept Australians safe. We know that inflation's running at 5.1%, but wages growth is only half of that. And these are the workers that are falling further and further behind. We've got a Fair Work Commission case coming up in a few weeks' time, and Labor's put the view that we'll make a submission to that case if we're elected to government, and the submission will be that these workers' wages should keep pace with the cost of living so that they don't fall further and further behind. And that's a reasonable submission to make if we're elected to government.
Jason, I don't think anyone begrudges people on particularly low wages a pay rise, but is it as simple as what Matt's just presented?
No, it's not, Tim. And can I start by saying, of course, we want people who are on low incomes to get higher incomes. There's no one in the Australian Parliament who doesn't want to see Australian workers paid more. But it's about real wages, not nominal wages. And what Labor's suggesting here is actually something that will see people's wages fall. Because without productivity gains that are associated with these wage increases, then inflation will only go higher. And what Matt was just referring to them, which is a spike due to the Russian invasion of Ukraine, will become a permanent feature of the Australian economy, much higher inflation, much higher interest rates, and therefore overall lower real wages.
Plenty of rhetoric from the Defence Minister, Jason, about the Chinese spy ship. How important is the whole idea of us trying to repair the relationship with China?
Tim, as Benjamin Franklin said, at all times, as much as possible, be on good terms with everyone. And that's what every Australian government has tried to do, I think, since Federation. But what we cannot do is do that at the cost of the security and safety of our nation and the Australian people. And we have very assertive regimes around the world at the moment that are asserting their rights over liberal democracies. One of the great challenges of the next 70 years will be what form of civilisations thrive in the 21st century. Will it be authoritarian, centralised dictatorships, or will it be liberal democracies where people have the right and say of how they want to live their lives? We live in a liberal democracy. At the moment, we are seeing in all sorts of different places regimes that operate on the basis that governments, the people exist to serve governments, not the other way around, are really starting to assert their claims to international supremacy.
Matt, we saw the words from the Defence Minister, Peter Dutton, and basically saying this is a threat to our security. Then we saw the Prime Minister say this is just another ship. They've done it before, they'll do it again. They're watching us, we're watching them. So it was very much, from my point of view, a good cop, bad cop kind of thing. Or a more cynical view would be, are they both on the same page?
Well, it is a confusing message, and I agree with Jason. I think that the safety and security of the Australian people is paramount in any defence posture that Australia has. And there's no doubt that the Chinese posture towards our region has changed over recent years. It's concerning that a vessel, a Chinese military vessel, has entered the Australian exclusive economic zone. And we've sought a briefing from the Defence Minister as quickly as possible to understand why he made those assertions and why that's different to what the Prime Minister's been saying. And I think that the Australian public deserve to know as quickly as possible what the government's position is.